What's going on, everyone? This is Deke back with another Sorare video. So today we're going to talk about 6 rookie mistakes that I personally made on Sorare that you should definitely not make the same mistake. So whenever I got in, I didn't know a lot about the site. I just kind of jumped in. You take a look at my date. I started 8/8/21, but I got locked out of my account and I couldn't kind of recover it. And then I forgot about it, and I actually didn't get started into kind of the platform maybe last 6 months, maybe, where I really got into it and really enjoyed the entire site and playing the actual game. So my start, I didn't know about server data out of the gate. I didn't know about a lot of things. What I did was use YouTube videos. So if you're on this one, this is more of a beginner video, but I just want to kind of help people out, make sure they don't make the same mistakes that I did, because they can be pretty costly, especially in your starting budget. So number one, research the situation before you buy. So my instance of this will be Mr. Marco Rubin. So he, as you can see, this is my first foray into the rare market. I shouldn't have been in the rare market early. I did not have the budget, even though this was a cheap play. So if you take a look here, I was buying into the hype, and I bought him for 0.045. I was hearing that he was going back to Rosario Central. I figured that would be a nice, he's 35. He's a little bit older, but that might be a nice kind of fit for him to put up some nice scores, because he was putting up nice scores. What I didn't know, I didn't do my own research. I didn't research it hard, but he was going back to retire there. So obviously now you have a dead card. As you can see, I do still own it, but I just threw away this money, which is a real bummer. But as you can see, people bought in, and then it was just that cliff that you fell off. So again, I was kind of looking into it. I'm like, oh, he had some nice scores, at Rosario Central. I thought he was coming back, but he was actually retiring whenever his contract ended. So I didn't do my own research there. I was thinking for a rare, maybe I can jump into the rare market. And, that kind of hurt whenever I started with a kind of lower budget until I kind of ramped up into the game. So that's my number one. Do your own research, even like a Google search. So what I like to do is I'll just go on Google and I'll type in whatever the player's name is, and I'll go to news a lot of the time. And then something usually pops up, or I'll go to Twitter and search on Twitter to find different news about players. So that's kind of what I do for that. My second one, when buying on auction, know what the floor price is in manager sales. So if we go to auctions, I just picked a random player that had cards that were available. So Alexander Callens for New York City. If you take a look at his auction, so this has an hour, 38 minutes, so there's still time, and it's at 0.0126. So if we take a look at the manager sales, although it's a last year card and you look at the percentages, 0.0117 is the floor. So it's under that, but if you take a look at the 2022, so if I was bidding on this and you can get it right now for that price, you definitely want to take a look at, while you're bidding, that you don't up that bid when you can get it for the same amount of price or cheaper, which I had several examples where I did that, and I overpaid for a card. I got in a bidding war, and I didn't really understand the manager sales. I saw that you had to do the 5 cards for that referral link, and I thought you just had to go through auction. So definitely think about that whenever you are getting started. You don't always have to buy through auction. I kind of rarely go through auction unless it's a card that is underpriced or a card that I just really want, and there's nothing really on there. In the rare market especially, that's kind of key, because you might have somebody that lists maybe 0.1 over the last price, or 0.25 over the last price sold, and that's the lowest on the market. Don't buy into that and just buy that. Maybe you can offer, or hopefully there's an auction that'll have like a true price under that price. So don't overspend, and kind of don't outstretch yourself, especially when you're just getting started. My number 3 is quality, not quantity, for your initial budget. What I did is I was just going through, oh, this seems like a cheap price. This seems like a cheap price. And I was buying a bunch of players, but I didn't have a real plan, okay? I was thinking, I'll get a bunch of these players and I can play them. But I really didn't have teams that I could field. So very important, this lineup builder on Sorare Data. If you don't know about it, you go to your name, you connect it, you go to My Lineup Builder. So this little tab up here game week. 294 is when all the big boys are back, so let's just go to that. I like looking at under 23. So basically, if you do this, you can see what you can field for each one and then kind of make your buys early so that you can have a team for maybe, I wouldn't worry about midweek right away, especially if you're getting started. Just your weekend teams, and you can go after that. So if you take a look at this, you can go through each position. So I'll just quickly just fill in. You can go through each position, and if you don't have anyone, obviously it's a pretty big deal. You can't field a team here. So if you go through each of these positions, it's not loading, but obviously if you go through each position, you can see what you have available at each position. If you can field a team that week, you can do this little drop down and you can do any competition that you are thinking about. And a cool thing here, if you just play casual or the academy, you can also do that to see where you're standing there. So that's nice as well. One other thing with the lineup builder, it's important that if you're just starting out with a few cards, I mentioned midweek a little bit, you pretty much only want to play the weekends. You don't have to play every slate. You might want to. Me personally, I kind of got into the feeling that, I want to play every single slate. I want to have all these, but it's all about quality early over that quantity of players. If you have 7 great players over 50 okay, you're probably going to get more rewards with those great players in terms of that. So a lot of people that I've seen, they started buying a lot of people. I did that as well. And then they kind of trimmed up their gallery. I haven't gotten to the point where I'm trimming up my gallery. I really need to kind of, I would like to strengthen my rare teams. I kind of need to, make some changes there and get more into the rare game because I have a ton of limited. I have too many limiteds. Last game week, I forget, there's like 5 players that I didn't play who scored really well, but like they couldn't even make their way into one of my teams at the time. So I have too many players. That's just kind of the flat out. Number 4, that was kind of 3 and 4. Number 5, don't buy into the hype / recent performances. So let's look at Fedor Smolov. His price hasn't gone crazy. It's gone up a decent amount. So if you're unfamiliar, he started out for Dinamo really well, 97, 92. 2 goals and a penalty, 1 here, 2 goals here to start the season. And then he had an assist. That was this year? Yes. So he started out really well. If you take a look at, let's see, I bought right at the beginning of the season. Rare. So I kind of, at the start, I was looking at the Russian league, and before the season started, right before the season started, and I wanted a striker to kind of build my team up there. I had another striker, but I felt this would be a nice, I had a little bit of ETH, so 0.345. I had that, and as you can see, rare cards don't sell as much, but you can see kind of it's going. I would not buy, I guess here's the current floor, but I would not buy up here. Whenever I got started, that's what I was doing. I was looking at recent scores, especially this L5. This L5 was really high, so I bought the card. Unless it's a superstar guy who's going to put up those performances, take a look at the L40, see if maybe the L5 is lower than that. Then, unless the situation changed or something like that, it's pretty solid of an idea to buy at the lower and then hope for better performances, especially if you're trading. If you're into this to kind of, I've seen some great Road to Glory saves where you kind of get into it and you want to buy at their low, sell for a little bit of profit. You can get 2x profits on like the lower guys if you wait till they score a goal and then the hype comes up. And especially him, he's a great player. But I honestly, me personally, I can 2x, almost 2x what I put into him. Could I sell him? Maybe. I don't know. I'm going to hold on to him because he has been a stud. But that's something to think about. And then the last thing, we're going to go back to our matchup builder, a lineup builder. Last thing, number 6, look at matchups once you start to get more players. Matchups over just playing your best players, like your best L5, L15, L40 scores. Because matchups make everything work. If you've ever played DraftKings Fantasy there's different prices and they get priced down in worse matchups. So if you have a tougher matchup, the likelihood of them putting up ridiculous scores are just not there. I go out a different route. I'll do a lineup builder, kind of how my process works. But if you take a look on Sorare data, it is awesome. If you take a look, let's see, game week 293. So here's my keepers. You can see all their scores, but let's take a look at these matchups. So Corinthians plays Flamengo. They are not the favorite at home, so a little bit of a tough draw. 30% chance to win. You take a look at Mineiro against Palmeiras. 40% slight favorite at home. Portland, however, after Avachis played horrible, gave up 3 or 4, I can't remember, had a really rough time. They are 45% favorites against Nashville. So that's a pretty good matchup, a little bit better. So even if they're worse scores, I'm not exactly sure. I still have a little bit of time before I put my teams together. But, that's a very interesting kind of thing. So the reason I wanted to show this is let's take a look at JT Marcinkowski for San Jose. Lower score than all these other guys, but a better matchup than everyone else, especially at the goalkeeper level. They play Inter Miami at home, 53%. So that is, if you're into US odds, that would be minus odds. If you're into decimal odds, that would be under 2 odds. So anything under 2 would be a favorite. It's as far as you're going to, if you would bet on it, you'd put up money, but you would get less than what you put back on that. So I'm probably going to play JT Marcinkowski. I don't know which lineup, but, like Pay's come off a great matchup. So what did he score last time out? He scored an 85. He's coming off a 68 and an 85. I really don't think I'm going to play him unless they're in a specialist or something. But, his, what's L5, L15. So maybe under 50. But I'm looking at that specialist as Marcinkowski here. So it's really important. Look at the matchups. It's not always the best. So, like, if you have your best player, another case in point, and this is the last one that I'll leave you with, is Carlos Hill. So he has kind of gone down. Can we get him? Maybe if it works. But he has been down in performances. I bought him at a high. I still make mistakes. You're going to make mistakes. Look, I bought him here. I thought that was the lowest he could go. He's still coming down. He's a great player. I think when Veroni comes into the lineup, it might kind of make him a little bit better. But you take a look here. I bought in maybe like after this 44. I'm pretty sure if you look back, I think that's where I bought. Maybe around here, or maybe it was I can't remember. Either here or here. But as great of a player, he just, hasn't put up those upside performances. So if we just take a look, yes, he's putting up 55s, but that's not why you get a guy like this. Toronto's looked a lot better. That was a decent matchup, so 55 isn't that great there. Crew on the road, Crew have looked better. Philadelphia Union on the road, not a great matchup. You put up 60, that's fine, but you're not going to see the upside in this. New York City FC, 51.3, tough matchup, okay, especially whenever they had Tati. So it's kind of matchup based. Minnesota United at home, Orlando City at home. You can see why he did get a decisive there. Atlanta, you can see why he got a decisive. Inter Miami, you can see why he got a decisive. So matchup based, even if it's a guy that's a little bit worse, not a superstar, maybe kind of change your lineups a little bit whenever you're doing that. So I hope you like those 6 different things. I'm sure I missed a ton of different mistakes I've made. I've made way more than 6. But hopefully if you're just starting, my biggest thing that I would say out of all this is watch content. YouTube content. There's so many good creators that are smarter than I am. You can find league creators who focus on just a certain league and they know everything about that league. It's really important to just kind of get on the same page of specializing in a certain thing, finding as much about that topic or whatever league that is, and then kind of going that route, okay, instead of spreading yourself out like I did and making some of these mistakes. Hope you guys like this. Stay tuned for the next one. I think I'll do a lineup builder next. Please like, follow, subscribe, and we'll keep going with our journey. Our next giveaway will be at 250 followers, subscribers, so we are almost there, and I'll have a nice card for a giveaway there. All right? See you guys.